What is going on, everybody? Brandon Jones here, and I'm so excited to be sharing with you how I've gotten to where I am now. How I've done the things I've done on the wellness side, the gym, everything that I've gone through. I'm going to walk you through it. And as you can see on the screen, one of my biggest blessings I have in my life is my family. So first off, you see there in the middle, me and my wife Beth. We've been together since high school. My son Caden and my daughter Taylor, who just started driving. So that's us there together on our new, about 3 months ago, we bought 15 acres. We're about to build our dream home on it. Gonna do the whole pond. We already have cows, like awesome. We're so excited to do this. We're gonna have a hobby farm. So that's a little bit about my family. There's my wife and me there on the left. We were on a vacation with our family. And as you can see there, that's us. I think that was her either her junior year, I think that was her junior, my senior, or I was a freshman in college and she was a senior, one or the other. So, but it's my beautiful wife. We've been together a long time. You see there my baby face, but awesome. So you're not here to look at all these pictures about me, but what you are here to do is to look at how I got to where I am. So here we go. Let's go right down the line. I graduated high school 2003. We lived in Amarillo. Me and my beautiful wife have been together since high school. She was my sweetheart. We got married in 2006 while we were both in college at 20 and 21. And then I graduated college with my bachelor's of sports and exercise sciences. So I was already kind of in that health realm. I knew I wanted to do something health-wise. So I graduated in 2007. And like most people back then, it was like, cool, I'm going to go get my corporate job. I did not want to at the time because I wanted to do something health fitness-wise, but it's kind of hard to compare when you're starting out with 80 to 100 grand a year versus 30 to 40, because that's kind of what the going rate was beginning with the health and fitness. So that's what I did. I started my corporate job, a place called Pantex. I actually worked in security. It was shift work, a month of days, a month of nights. It was not my favorite. I did learn a lot. I'm a pretty good shot. I learned that. Did a lot of shooting competitions. So I learned a lot out there. It was great for my family. But I knew it was not what I wanted to do forever. Like, there were many guys that have been out there for years and years and years. And I knew that wasn't me. That wasn't my path. And so I just didn't know what I was going to do at that time. In 2008, so about a year after I went out there to Pantex, my wife had our daughter, Taylor. And then 2 years later, we had my son, Caden. All right. I went back to school because my job paid for it. So why wouldn't I? I got my master's online in sports management. And then in 2013, after about a year of telling my wife, oh, I want to start a gym. I should start a gym. This would be cool. So awesome to start a gym. My wife got tired of me telling her about it and said, hey, shut up and just go do it. So I did. I went out, my truck that I still have now, my 2008 Toyota Tundra, I love that truck. I went out, took a collateral loan on it, bought equipment, and rented a building and said, all right, I'm just going to start this and hopefully they come. As we know, that never works. I started out with 5 buddies that showed up. They were supporting me, but they didn't become members. And over the next few years, I struggled through trying to figure out this thing called business and having a gym. It was a big struggle, and it took me a couple years before I figured out I need to get help and a business coach so I can learn how to run a business. And I'm still working my job at Pantex, so I'm doing shift work. I mean, it was rough. I had days I would work all day, get off around 6 p.m., go straight to the gym. I'd be there for 2 or 3 hours, go home, see the family for an hour or two, do some more gym work, sleep for 3 or 4 hours, and do it all again. I had many days like that. It was rough. And so, but I had to go through all that to get to where I am now. All right. So let's keep moving forward. 2017, so 4 years after I started my gym, about 4 years, I had got it figured out. I was profitable, making decent money. I'm not going to say great money, but I was making decent money, enough to where I was able to leave my corporate job. My wife was doing real estate. She's kicking butt in real estate. And so I left my corporate job. All right. Really excited about that. It was a big deal to me. And side note, funny story. So obviously we were going to lose insurance when I was going to leave that job, Pantex. And it was great benefits. And my wife told me we'd already had both our kids. We had a boy and a girl. So she was done, which I respected. My mind was like, hey, let's have 3, maybe 4. But that wasn't in our cards. So she told me, hey, go get a vasectomy and then quit. Then you can quit. I had it scheduled the next week because I was so ready to leave there to go jump full-fledged into entrepreneurship and run my gym. So I got it scheduled next week, got my snip, and boom, I was out. I think that was mid-year that year, June or July. I still remember driving out the front gate because you had security at the gates. If you don't know what Pantex is, we actually guarded nuclear weapons out there. And I remember looking in my rearview mirror out the gate and be like, I cannot believe I'm doing this. Like, it was scary and exciting all at the same time, but I'm so happy I did it, and I'm so blessed for the path I've been on since then. Okay, so I left there. We opened our first wellness location at the end of 2017. All right. Now, this wellness location we were excited to do. It was the first. It was more of the IV type, IV vitamin injections. So it was our first one to do. My wife actually was the one who started it at first. I was running my gym. She was running the IV clinic. Soon, she was overwhelmed. Very, very overwhelmed. I'm very much, hey, let me set up systems and processes and get this thing to run so I'm not having to be here all the time. My wife is very much a go-getter, hands-on. I'm going to rock this. So she got a little overwhelmed, and she was also, the main reason, she was so busy with real estate. She is an ass kicker when it comes to real estate. So I said, hey, she was like, let's get rid of it. I said, no, let me do it. Let me take it over. She said, fine, hands up. You do it. I don't want to deal with it. Perfect. I jumped in. It was right up my alley. She had done a great job of getting it started, and I jumped in and set up systems and processes to really get it rolling. And from I want to say it took about 2 or 3 months, I'd already doubled our income, our revenue since I started. You'd be amazed what systems and processes can do in a business, and you find good people. All right, so let's keep moving. Wellness location is going great. We decided 2019, I can almost tell you the day. I know the month. It was June or July. My wife was in Frisco on a course. She shoots me a text. Hey, I think we should move down to this area. Now, one thing you don't know is I've been trying to get her to move since we got married. I wanted to move down south. I'm from down south. I was born in College Station. And my wife never wanted to move, which when we were younger, it wasn't as smart because we had support. Both of our families lived in Amarillo, like parents, and then I got sisters there. She has a lot of aunt, uncles, just a lot of support. Well, she messaged me, said she wants to move somewhere down that area. And I was like, don't you play with me. Like, I want to move, you know that. So she was serious. What we did was we went down to the DFW area. We started checking out different areas. And we knew Aledo was where we wanted to be. And that's where we live now. So we come back and I wanted to sell my gym. We wanted to obviously sell our house. And then we were going to move. And we were looking for a new house over here. This is how I know I'm a very big faith-based. This is how I know God had his finger on the whole thing. I asked 3 people if they wanted to buy my gym. I got a no, then a yes. So the third person I asked was, yes, I want to buy your gym. And they had already started their gym, but they were brand new. So they wanted the influx of members, plus obviously the equipment. And we officially sold, I want to say it was the last day of September, whatever that 30th, whatever was the last day. So gym sold. My wife put our house up in our Facebook group for our neighborhood we were in. Within a few weeks, she had it sold. Some people that wanted to upgrade their house because they were going to start having kids. They needed more space. God was just touching the whole way. We were moving the first week in January of 2020. We sold our house 6 weeks before that, so we actually moved in with her parents and lived there for 6 weeks before we actually moved, which allowed us to save a little bit of money. All right. So 2020, we moved down here to Aledo. Right before COVID goes rampant, all that stuff happens, blah, blah, blah. Let's fast forward a little bit. 2022, I opened my second wellness location in Weatherford, Texas. And I start doing a little bit of business coaching, business mentorship. I've gotten some great experience. I'm now on my third business, if you count business mentorship, my fourth. I really enjoy it. I have had multiple coaches along the way that have really helped me, and I knew I could help others. So that's why I got started in that. Now, I didn't stop there. 2023, and let me just set the scene real fast. So we're in Aledo, 6 hours away, or 5.5 hours away. Premier IV is running in Amarillo. And just so you see it, here's Premier IV. This is our, we got both of our locations here. And then I decided, where we at? Here we go. I saw a business model I really liked, and we'd figured out things in this wellness industry, and we wanted to help others. So I opened On Demand Wellness. This was also another way I could help others with coaching. On Demand Wellness is a company where we help those who want to start their wellness business. We help them with compliance. We help them with medical director, protocol, all that jazz. We started that in 2023, and that has also been a big blessing. Let's keep rolling here. Okay, so I want to talk about numbers. Now, before I do that, because there's been a big evolution of how I started. Every time I leveled up, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself, and one of the things that I strive to continue to do is empower my team. I cannot do everything myself. I only have certain things I even enjoy doing. So I empower my team. My goal is to set up great systems and standard operating procedures. This is how I can run 2 med spas, online wellness business, or consulting essentially, and then also do mentorship, as well as we have multiple Airbnbs. And my wife's big in real estate. We're involved in a lot of things with the kids. How can I do all that? Is because I delegate and I use my team members. That's how I can do all that. And you can do the same thing. So let's talk about numbers. So I told you I've made over $8 million through doing this, and let's see what that looks like. $8 million in revenue. So let's talk about the evolution of Premier IV. Okay, so our first year we started out. It was only 3 months in 2017. We did about $65,000 in sales, and as you remember, I took over it was about 3 months, so right around the new year I took over. And as you can see, we had great success that first year. Booming year the second year. Okay, COVID comes through, a little crazy there. Had to shut down for a while. So still really happy with where we ended up in 2020 with COVID. Now, 2021, so it's not all just sunshine and rainbows, as they say. 2021, I really went through some stressful anxiety times, and I learned a lot as a business owner. I lost, throughout like a 3-month span, I lost 99% of my business. And I almost sold my location for a steal. So, quick little story. I had one staff member that ended up kind of being cancer. We all know that story. They come in, they ruffle feathers, they push people around, and that's what happened. I was not aware. I had kind of said it and almost forgot it. And slowly I just have nurse after nurse after nurse just leave. And then same thing with my staff. I had one staff member that stayed. I was kind of burnt out after that, ready to be done with it. And I had randomly somebody reach out that was interested in purchasing it. And I was like, wow, that's kind of convenient timing. And we actually agreed on a price. We went back and forth. We agreed on a price. I wasn't really happy with it, but I was ready to be done with it. Well, I lucked out because I'm going to say they drugged their feet, whether they did or not. It just took a while. They weren't ready to close yet. It kept kind of going longer and longer. And I remember talking to my wife, Beth, about it. And I just wasn't sure. And she looked at me and she told me, like, hey, you've gotten it to this far. Like, you've built it up before. If you really want to do it, you can do it again. And she was right. And I knew that. And I knew I wasn't happy. And I knew I could put some sweat equity back into it, work hard on it, and I could get it back to where it was, or even better. So I called him back, the guy that, he was actually one of my friends. And I told him, hey, man, I can't sell it for that. Like, I'm going to put hard work back into it and get it to where I can go. He was obviously frustrated. He understood, but he was frustrated. So let's fast forward. That was in 2021. It did not take long. When you put your mind to something, you really get back focused in. We had to get some new staff. We had to train them. We had to make sure systems and processes were being followed. And we turned that ship around pretty quick. As you can see, I mean, we had actually went down. When we went through all that, our sales just tanked. And we were able to still have a very small gain over 2020. Now, granted, 2020, we were shut down for a little bit. As you can look, 2022, opened up a second location there in Weatherford. And 2023, we had some good growth again. Now, 2024 has been a booming year for us. Again, we're continuing to grow. Now, obviously, with the second location we opened in 22. As of today, or we'll say yesterday because today is actually the second, you can see our sales. Fresha is our payment system. Square we also use for certain payments. So there's our total. That's what we're on pace for. Pretty amazing. And I'm very big on being transparent. So I'm here in Fresha. You can see this is our scheduling and payment system. January 1st, October 1st of 24. There's those sales there I was just talking about. Square, January 1st to December 31st. There's those sales I was talking about. So you add those two together. That's where you're going to get the 813. And then you can see what we're on pace for. You can see what we did last year. We have almost matched last year's, and we're going to crush it. It didn't happen overnight. It took work. It took trusting my team. There's a lot of things that were involved in that. But we're going to keep growing and keep doing it. Now, I want to give you a little bit more of a picture of my other business, as well as where we kind of started out and how we got to 8 million. But On-Demand Wellness, I told you about that business. And last year, 8-9 month range, we did about 914, which was our first year in business. And then this year we're on pace for, again, over 1 million. This is where we're at as of the first. So this business is on a great path, and I will show you here, On-Demand Wellness, right? ondemandwellness.com. So things are moving really well. So let's talk about how did I get to 8 million, right? Ravage CrossFit, 6 years, a lot of learning. I would say my first couple of years was more of a hobby because I had no clue what I was doing. But we did 6 years, did about 1 million in sales. Premier IV and Wellness, we have been open. We're not quite at 7 years. We're working on it. And we're up to 5.3, higher now, million in sales. We're over almost 2 million the last 18 months with On-Demand Wellness. And so that's how we got over 8 million in revenue. So it's been an amazing journey, and I love it. I love the way things have gone and the way that we're moving. And, I tell you this story of where I've been and what I've done to encourage you, but also so you can learn more about me. And it's not all perfect. There's been many ups and downs. Raising kids the entire time. Me and my wife, like, our marriage is by no means perfect. We are very, very strong. We are such a great team, but we've had our ups and downs. You're going to have trials and tribulations when it comes to business and your family and, all these things that you do. But you have to persevere, and you have to have the right mindset for it. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. So this is my story. This is how I got to where I got. And I'm so excited to share this with you. And don't feel free to reach out if you have questions. If you need help with anything, I'm here. Just let me know. But thanks for listening.